Hi, everyone. Welcome to the SellOut Show, the raw and uncut version. We have a problem today, kind of an issue that we're going to talk about. This is a real life sales scenario. We're bringing you the real life stuff. So, Dianna, I'm going to set you up. You've got an issue you want to talk about today. Tell everybody.
I'm in a sales jam. I will admit it. I'm in a sales jam, and Shawn works me through it. And I think that this is something that will really benefit people. It's when you need to call your customers bluff.
Yeah. So learn a little bit about poker today, negotiation, and calling those bluffs. So
That's right.
Watch the raw and uncut version of the SellOut Show. That's terrible.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful.
Good, yeah.
Pick this sucker off because you have something you're trying to talk about.
Let's do it. Okay. So I'll start by saying welcome everyone to the SellOut Show, where we are always sold out. I am Dianna Guerin, and I am the irreverent sales girl, where my mission is to bring a dash of dignity to the art of selling.
Hi, Dianna. Hi, everyone. I'm Shawn Sandy. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer of the Selling Agency, where we coach humans how to sell to other humans. Because if you're selling like the Grinch, Cindy Who is coming for you.
That's right. It's a Christmas time theme. Oh, I wish I brought my hat.
Oh yeah, here. Like if I had some decoration in my office, you know it's Christmas time right now. But
it's Christmas time.
You're gonna get the hint. Yeah.
Actually, by the time we release this, it'll be after Christmas. So it's New Year's for you.
You know what? It's Christmas in your heart all year freaking round. So
it's Christmas in your heart.
Exactly.
Except for it's not Christmas in my heart right now because I'm getting played. And I want your input on this. And I know we try not to have like negative sort of titles, but the title of this one's going to be, how to behave when your prospect is bluffing, how to call your prospects bluff. So I want your input because I'm a little jammed up and stuck here.
All right. Well, so lay it out for me. Lay it out for everybody.
All right. So one of the clients that I sell for, we're sort of known as being the absolute best in the business at what we do. So we have the expensive prices that go along with that, but there's really nobody better. And it's, I'm not going to go into all the details about what we're good at, but so this is what's happening. So there's this prospect who is very interested because we've had 3 calls now and, he's interested, but they want us they're telling us that we have competitors that can deliver something better than we can deliver. Now, I don't know if they're saying that it's pricier or I know that there's a component of what they deliver that they're not completely thrilled with. Mm-hmm. But they're telling me that they can do it better than we can. And I've started checking with, I'm like, okay, well, I may just be living in my own echo chamber and I think that we do this the best. So I started checking with other people because, once you get into an industry, you sort of know everybody and you pass prospects back and forth. If you can't do something for them, you send them somewhere else. So I was totally happy to send them to somebody else who I think also is amazing at this. So I contacted them and like, is this possible? Is there anybody out there that's actually really able to do this or deliver? And he's like, no way. He's like, if somebody says they can, they are lying.
Yeah.
So anyway, I want to know what to do with this guy.
It's a delicate thing because you're either going to call him a liar or tell him he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right.
Which
problem.
I mean, do you feel like he is holding cards close to the vest? Do you feel like he's testing you? Do you feel like this is a negotiation tactic? Do you feel like he really thinks that he can get stuff done? I mean, what's your gut tell you?
Well, my gut tells me that he's tried these people and it hasn't worked.
Aha. Yeah.
But every time you start working with a new vendor, it's a leap of faith. Do you know what I mean? Like and he's like, well, maybe you could do some work for us for free for a little while to prove it. I'm like, no, like not going to do that.
Free is the worst F word you could drop. Like,
I know.
F word.
In some ways I'm like, I should just kick this guy to the curb, but I think we could do a good job for him. And, my pipeline isn't so full that I can just be spitting. Yeah. I mean, it's just not time to spit everything out. So,
well, if he's really bluffing, here's a thought. If he's really bluffing, a couple of things come to mind. it's really easy to get like sucked into, well, I'm going to prove them wrong kind of stuff, right?
I'm a little bit there right now.
I know,
So.
I can tell. But, have you just like been like straight on direct with them and say, why is it that you keep coming back to me then? If you think someone else can do it better, like, why are we talking?
Yeah, that's good. The thing is, what I don't want to do is I want to get them on another conversation as opposed to have everything devolve through email, which is terrible way to do it.
Or better yet, video, because then you can really tell if he's squirrely.
Yeah, and he has been getting on Zoom meetings with me, so that's good. Yeah, I mean, he said it with such confidence last time that I was, I've been talking to my team about what we could deliver, and they're like, no, we can't actually deliver exactly the way he wants to. We can get to it, but we can't deliver it exactly the way that he says that he wants it. And so it would just take, we can do it. It just takes a little bit more work and investment. But he just said it with such confidence, like, we can get this. And I'm like, okay, well, let me go back to my team. So I'm kind of in that. And so I guess I would like to get him on a call. You're right. On another call.
Yeah. I think my favorite example is this. I've told this story before about playing chicken with the director of materials management for a major regional bank, where he was just hammering me about price and he could get this quality and this quality. And I knew he was talking out his ass, and I knew that his existing vendor had just shut his door and left them dry, high and dry and hanging with orders out the butt. So I was just, I felt like this is just my make or break moment. So I said, okay, you're right. Continue using your existing vendor. Thanks. Good talk. And he's like, and then he started like, whoa, started backpedaling.
Hang on.
Yeah. But I had the benefit of some really great inside information. I knew that they did not have anything, and they were stuck, so, and I also knew that he was not getting like the quality, and he was just a hot mess. He was an asshole too. He was an asshole. Like, he just really was. So I think, the other thing too is like, I think sometimes people, do you feel like he's one of these folks who just feels like he has to negotiate because that's his job? Or like he has got to, put the screws to you because he thinks that that's what he's supposed to do? Or he's one of those folks that enjoys doing it. My husband loves haggling over cars, and which is a dying art because you don't really get to haggle this much, anymore. But, that's just what he shows up to a car lot to do. Like, no, I'm going to haggle,
That sounds like fun. I think, I can really respect that somebody pushes on a system hard enough to see what can you really get out of it. Like, what can you really get out of it? So, that I can really appreciate. I always try to kind of listen to think through what's the commitment behind what he's saying to me. Like, there's something that he's committed to that's behind what he's saying. And I think that he's invested in other similar sort of situations and not gotten what he expected. And I find that, if people have been burned, see, in your business, it works if people have been burned before.
Right.
In my business, it doesn't. In this particular client, it doesn't work if they've been burned before. And actually, that's one of the challenges as I kind of ramp up with them is helping people get that level of confidence that they can invest up front, because it's a 3-month investment up front, and not a whole ton of guarantees. So. Yeah. I can just see where he'd be like, oh, I can't go down another road where I invest money and don't get a result. I think that's where he's coming from.
Well, I think that'd be good to, like, then hit that head on with him. Like, I would, send him an email, last call, like, let's have a last call together to really figure this out. And then, what is it, what position are you in? I'm really trying to understand. Is this because you feel like you need a better deal, or you've been burned before? And if you really think you can get something from somebody else, why are we still talking?
Right. Those are so good. I'm so glad I have this recorded, but no, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I do think he's willing to get on another phone call because we have been offering, so much value so far, but I think he also really wants to believe,
Yeah. Well,
I think he does.
That's clear. He wants to work with you. But if he thinks he can, and here's the other thing too. So like, what would a discount, what would that do for you here?
Nothing.
Nothing. It's not going to make it's not going to make working with us any more valuable, other than maybe a little bit better ROI. If you look at that in the long run, yes. However, is it going to get you better data? Is it going to get you better service? What usually happens when you push for lower margins and discounts? What kind of service do you usually expect?
Yeah. And he's not really looking for a discount in this case, but I will tell you, a lot of salespeople, that's all they hear is when something's not going. Maybe if I brought the price down.
Yeah.
When he asks for free, what he's asking for is proof of concept.
Sure.
But no, those are really good, because at some point I think that people are just looking to see if you've got the confidence of it.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, if this doesn't work for you right now and this model doesn't work for you, I completely get it. We don't work for free, and you would never want your clients to expect for you to work for free.
Right.
And we do awesome work. And if there's no way to move forward, then I get it. And thank you for all the time that you've invested, that kind of thing. But I just always find it really interesting, that conversation of, how do you call your customers bluff?
Yes. Yeah. Well, and what's really important is, one, I think this is great that you have someone to be able to talk it through.
Sure.
Because when people take us off guard, they push back, we don't expect it and stuff. I mean, you really need to be able to think it through and be able to have those answers. And then it's also important that you practice, like that you prepare for these things, and that you have them ready to go. So oftentimes people push back just to see how elastic your relationship is, right? They want to know, like, if I push back, is she going to give? If I push back, is she going to hold? And like, it's like they're testing that. So.
Yeah. And good for them. I mean, yeah, you wouldn't go marry somebody that you hadn't at least met through somebody reputable.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've talked about negotiation too, and some other points, not necessarily relevant to your situation here but never negotiate price, always negotiate scope and value.
Yes.
And then ask them, why are you asking for a discount? Why are you asking? Maybe you toss this one up to them too. Say, why is it you want free work when you would never turn around and do the same thing for people who ask free work for you?
Yeah. We make so many assumptions about why somebody's asking for something, don't we?
Yeah.
And by we, I mean me.
Oh, that's you and me and everybody else watching this business.
No, that's really good. That's really good. And I think sometimes people really do push to see just how you respond. I love what you're talking about, practicing, because as I'm ramping these people up, I've found there are sort of like 5 things that you run into. And I think that's pretty typical, right? When you're selling anything, there are probably 5 things. And if you just practice them and head them off at the pass. So there's one obstacle, I want to call it, because I don't really believe in objections, like the way that people present objections. You're not at war with your customer.
Yes, exactly.
Even when they're lying to you, you're not at war with them. They've been hurt.
Arm wrestling.
Right. It's not the arm wrestle. It's the beautiful orchestra that you are orchestrating. But so one of them has been sort of standard, and I just kind of head it off at the pass. Like I say, some people look at us as if we're delivering this service, but that's not what we do. That's over here. And that's very price-based commodity conversation. That's not what we do. This is how you want to think about what we do. And this is how it relates to your business if you were going to do something else. So I never run into that objection anymore, right? It's like, I never run into that obstacle because it's just not on the table, right? So if you can work through those things and you're the first one to say it, a lot of people tell me they want this in orange, but we don't have it in orange. And here's why. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's good to head it off, but yeah, you have to think about these things ahead of time. I've only had, over the past 3 or 4 years with the agency, I've only had a few people want to negotiate with me. And I found it very helpful to have this stuff locked and loaded, ready to go. Like I tell a story about one client who said, okay, all right, let's negotiate. And I just say, I don't negotiate. And then at one client, we had a really good back and forth relationship. There's a lot of humor in our relationship. And he said something about, okay, well, if we extend this out for a year, what kind of discount do I get? And I said to him, what about me makes you think I'm into giving discounts for anything?
And then you just look him in the eye and smile.
Yeah.
What did he say? What did he say?
He's like, I'll sign right now. Please don't hurt me. That's exactly what he said. In me and my industry, I'm teaching his salespeople. I'm coaching his salespeople.
Right. And he's going to be happy having somebody comes in who believes in discounts.
Right.
No.
Now, there have been instances where I have repackaged things, taken a few things out because I truly knew that they did not have the budget to do this at this time, but I wanted to work with them, and I set up future sessions, future trainings. And I said, look, here's what I'm willing to do, but I'm banking on X, Y, Z. Does that sound like something where, it was a partnership, but I'm not like, I don't discount anything. No, not happening. What about this girl makes you think I discount anything? Excuse me.
Oh my God.
That takes a little bit of a relationship, a specific type of relationship. But you know what? That's who I am, and that's kind of how I've always been. What about what I presented to you seems like it should smell of a discount.
Well, there's also that other thing. Have you ever been shopping at something kind of high end, and you just don't want to admit that the reason you're not buying the thing is because you can't afford it. Like me at the Tesla dealership the other day.
Oh my God.
But what I'm pointing to is that sometimes you can make, now again, you're not at war with your customer, but you can make them a little uncomfortable or embarrassed that maybe they just can't afford to work with you, and that's okay.
Yeah. Well, do you think that, that's a shame tactic.
I know, it's really terrible.
I hate tactics. I've seen people do it. And people have tried to do it.
By the way, I've never pulled that one off, ever. Yeah. I've never been able to pull that one off.
Have you tried?
It seems like it would be a good one, but you're right.
Well, I've had people try to do that with me and, say, well, if you can't afford it, say, well, maybe I don't freaking want it.
Right. You're right. That's really lame. So, audience out there, you just got to see the really dirty underbelly of the way our brains think sometimes when we're trying to
it's out there, though. It's out there.
Yeah.
It's out there. I know there's a big training company, and that's actually taking something off the table is a big tactic of theirs. And I think that there's part of that that's okay, but doing it with the idea that you're going to manipulate someone is just really crappy. I'm gonna manipulate someone by making them feel inferior and shame. Like that's ultimately not that's not the experience I want to leave people with when they remember all this stuff went down.
Well, the problem is that those things really work when it's authentic. Mm-hmm. When it's really the case where you just can't do it and you need to walk away, and then they go, oh my gosh, I really want to work with you, then that's when it really works because you really meant it. But you're right, as a tactic, it's terrible.
Yeah, not tactics, not manipulation. Be better, improve your skill. I think that's, skill is preparing to push back, right? That's what I think there's some true objections when you get down to the bottom or the end of the sale. There might be some true objections stuff. You really should have figured that stuff out ahead of time. However, I think what I call is pushback. You have to learn to push back. And oftentimes you can learn so much more about your customers when you push back. You can open up something that was something they hadn't shared, or something that they didn't feel comfortable saying, or a motive that wasn't necessarily out there to begin with. Push back, you can usually get more insights and information to be able to know, if I zig, then zag, then zigzag, whatever.
Always with it in mind that you're really going to help them improve their business. You're either going to, improve their revenue, decrease their costs, or better their efficiency.
Yeah. Yes. One of those three things. Yes.
Yeah. And it's easy for us to get in our heads about what we want and what's important to us. But I really do think that the more that you challenge yourself, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to really challenge myself to be looking over there, and because he obviously wants to do something with us.
Right. Right.
And he says, I have no problem engaging in a long-term relationship with something that works, but he's concerned that it's not going to work. And he's probably had something not work before. So
is there like referrals or testimonials? Can you connect him to an existing client in a similar industry or something, non-competing industry that, alleviate some of that risk, lower the risk, increase the reward?
Yeah. I was thinking about this morning. I'm like, he's going to be one of those guys that he thinks that his business is completely unique. And everybody does. They think that but the reality is you can work with that because people really do think that their business is unique. So why resist that? Let them know your business is unique. But I think that, this is close enough that we could really give you a level of confidence. Right. And that's what I think that's all he's looking for is confidence. And he's invested so much time. So there's for me to bring like gratitude to him for the time that he's invested. And, frankly, he's sort of training me on his dime, right? Because there are so many things that I'm running into that are going to be so much better in the future. So I think to bring a lot of gratitude and commitment to his success in a way that works for both of us is going to make a big difference. This is kind of like a transformational show, everyone.
Yeah, I'm such a better coach and such a better salesperson from doing this show, learning from you, learning from our guests and stuff. Yeah. And I'll just, you said something about expressing gratitude for the time he's invested, but validate the time he's invested, instead of necessarily saying,
tell me more.
Well, I was thinking, instead of saying, so much, thank you for the time you invested, say, validate the time he's invested by, saying, this is what, so far, this is what you've learned. This is what we know. And, where you go from here is, a decision that's up to you. Like, you know what I mean? Like validating it instead of necessarily thanking him for it. Hmm.
Oh, yes. I was kind of meaning like in my heart, finding the gratitude, but no, I love that. Validate. Okay. Yeah. This is what, say it again. This is what we've learned. What?
Yeah, well, so validating the use of his time in pursuing this. So
right.
Even if he stopped right here, this is what he's learned, and this is something he can bank on, and this is the information he knows that he needs to go to make decisions. You know what I mean? So it's just he's gotten to this point for a reason, and it's like running a marathon. You get to a certain point, and you don't want to just stop and throw it away. You have to close the gap. This is what we need to do, and this is how we need to push through.
Wow. It's kind of embarrassing. I'm supposed to be the one who knows how to handle any sales situation, or else I wouldn't be a sales expert. But yeah, this is really good stuff, Shawn, Carol, Sandy.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's what we're here to do, right? We're here to learn from each other and learn. I mean, I'm so in love with the selling industry or selling as a profession. And I think the industry, we just have to keep learning and keep sharing with each other, and just keep pursuing this a higher level of integrity in what we do. That's my philosophy.
I think that's an excellent philosophy.
Yeah. Well, I cannot wait to see how this. Will you on the next show? Will you tell us how it turns out?
Sure. I mean, I've probably blown it 4 ways to Sunday on this one, but I'll definitely tell you what the outcome is, either with this one or what it impacts for the future. I mean, I really may have already blown this one.
I don't know. If you can get him on the phone one more time, I think you have a shot at it. If you can get him on video, I think you have a shot at it. If he keeps showing up, I mean, that's the thing. If he keeps showing up, he wants to work with you, right?
Yeah, and he's the CEO too. It's not like, he's invested. No, that's so good. Yeah. All right. So the moral of the story is when you run into a jam, work through it with a really smart person. And and don't use tactics and don't manipulate. Those are the things we learned today. And then we'll see how it all goes.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Improve your skills. Yes. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, let's wrap this up. This was kind of a short and sweet one, but I cannot wait to see the outcome. I've learned a lot today. Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'll kick us out by saying, stop hoping.
And start selling.
That's right. Bye.